Professor Tegu Ariandanu, the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine at the Gadjah Mada University, Mr. Sharad Adhikari, Environmental Health Advisor at the WHO, Mr. Rudy Kurniawan, the Center for Data and Information at the Ministry of Health, and Mr. Martin Andreasson, Regional Governor from Västra Götaland, and also the Chair of the Board of a Center for e-Health in Sweden, and distinguished participants and representatives from various organizations and institutes. It's a great pleasure and an honor for me to be here today and represent the Swedish government during this very important symposium, which is a part of 1 week's finalizing program, as Dr. Maria has told you about, which has been a very impressive and interesting project. It's also a very great pleasure to be back to Jakarta, which is sort of the cultural center of Java and one of my favorite cities that I very much like to visit as often as I can. Swedish development cooperation according to a Swedish government decision with emerging economies is basically a kind of beyond aid instrument where it's not very much based on traditional aid components, but it's very much more based on mutual benefit, on partnerships, and on long-term sustainable relations. This is, of course, to show that this is a cooperation on an equal footing. And I think the description we've got here of the project today, you can say that this project on climate change and e-health is a very, very good example of that. It's been, has a long history. It's been a very comprehensive program. Development cooperation came into the picture rather late, but we are very happy to be able to facilitate future steps with this applied research cooperation that we have been financing, and several other things are actually now in the pipeline on a municipality partnership and also on research cooperation that I think been okay. Approved from the Swedish side now. So it's a very interesting platform and very much in line with the government's, Swedish government's and also the Indonesian government's ideas about collaboration between our two countries. The University of Gadjah Mada is very much a hub in the collaboration that we have with in a number of areas. We have Ibu Siti Shamsia here from the Chemical Engineering Department, who has been absolutely central to working up an excellent waste refinery network, to work with sustainable cities, to further these networks to other cities in Indonesia, and to be really a hub in our cooperation. And we think that it's excellent now that we have several departments involved in cooperation with Sweden. We have your department, Ibu Siti, chemical engineering. We have agriculture, working also on biogas issues. And we have the health department here, working on e-health and climate change. And we hope, of course, that there can be synergies between these networks and these departments and partners, and that we can have a kind of Swedish-Indonesian network with many interesting components, very much linked to each other, actually, in a good way. Yeah? I think you can say, without being too proud that, or boast actually, that Sweden is very much in the front line when it comes to environmental and climate issues. We have been working with these issues for a very, very long period of time with many, many different types of measures. We have had environmental education, we have awareness raising activities, we have innovative technology, we have education, we have research and so on. But it takes a long time, and we have been working with this for generations. And Indonesia has very ambitious and interesting plans in this field. And of course we have to realize that Sweden is a country with 8 million inhabitants and a rather small country as compared to Indonesia with 240 million inhabitants, 17,000 islands, and a very disaster-prone country. So of course the challenges here are much more significant than they are in Sweden. Still, we think we have a lot of interesting things we can share in cooperation with you, and also a lot of things that we can learn from you about how you deal with these issues. This project, I think, is really interesting. It has many components. We have the the side, of course, how does climate change impact on health issues? How can you use the health sector as one tool to work with adaptation and mitigation? And you also have an information technology part of this cooperation, which is also really very interesting. And I think there are great opportunities to further develop this cooperation. It's a very innovative platform. There is a huge potential for public and private partnership, and I think it's a great point of entry for further developing the ties in the environmental and sustainability field between our two countries. I wish you the very best of luck with the seminar and the symposium and with this fantastic Gunung Kidil thing tomorrow that unfortunately I cannot join, but I'm sure I will hear very interesting stories, and also the best of luck and all success with all your future work. Thank you very much.